Hello and welcome to Middletown High School for this matchup between East and Talawanda girls basketball. East just won the tip-off here, and we've got playoff basketball for you.
Yeah, playoff basketball indeed, and with the extra long rest here for the Thunderhawks, a lot of time to prepare for this game and for the Talawanda Braves, who have had a, for lack of a better term, a lackluster season, and the Hawks will be looking to take advantage.
Yeah, we see Selena Blunt there put up the basket, and East takes the first points as Talawanda tries to get something going here on offense. And that one is tipped away by Selena Blunt. She takes it up to the basket, and right away, 4 points for Lakota East.
And just a little bit of a first impression here. It looks like East is a lot quicker and has a lot more sense of urgency here than Talawanda, and you see it early on with the press there. Definitely not going to lay off that, and we have seen them bully teams with that this season.
And the ball stolen there from Weekly, and Selena Blunt again, 6-0 here already.
Yeah, and Blunt is going to be looking to feast there down low tonight. Obviously the tallest one there on the floor, and going to be hard to match up with her athleticism down there in the paint.
Yeah, and East just having that side of the court on locks right now, not even letting them get it out from behind their own three-point line. Up the court now, here comes Weekly, trying to get some help. That one's not going to be good, and a jump ball.
And just maybe a little bit of a defensive miscommunication right there from the Thunderhawks, letting Talawanda get it across half court there. But good job by Blunt here early on, getting a few points and then the block.
Here's Bothas to pass it in now. She'll dish it in here. And Bothas has it again, trying to find somebody. And that one tipped. It's on the ground. And another jump ball.
Yeah, it looks like the Hawks guards are going to have an opportunity to get a lot of turnovers here tonight. Just Talawanda not really being able to handle those passes and not really great dribbling either. They don't really look confident here putting it on the floor.
Yeah, for sure. And Talawanda has had their struggles scoring less than 20 the last two and less than 10 against Mount Healthy earlier this season, as Brooke Asher will take a three. No good, and they're fighting for it again, and another jump ball.
And just a good job by the Thunderhawks working that one around right there. And Selena Blunt getting in the paint, they collapsed on her, leaving Brooke Asher wide open. She's not going to miss that shot very often.
Yeah, Talawanda going to have to try very hard to stop this East offense. Very good passing team, as here's Richardson now coming back from injury. She'll pass it in there to Weekly, who gets the first points for Talawanda.
And the Hawks have just got to make sure that they're getting back on defense and communicating, because I'm sure in that press you're definitely going to not want to leave someone alone there by the basket.
Here's Asher now from the top of the key, and it's not going to go. She gets it back, though, off the ground. Here's Johnson now from three. That one also no good, and Talawanda gets the rebound there.
And even with the hot start here for the Thunderhawks, they just got to make sure that they're not trying to lay off the gas pedal here. Just don't start playing street ball. Just make sure you're sticking to your game plan and doing what's gotten you the hot start.
Yeah, definitely don't fall asleep on them here, as Full will take it up the court. See what East does here on offense. They have a chance to work it around the court. Here's Asher now. She'll drive in. Open lane, and it's going to go. East now has 8 points.
And just a great job there by the Hawks settling things down and running their offense right there. And that one for Brooke Asher just too easy, taking it into the paint.
And immediately pressure again. Full couldn't get that pass. Blunt falls on it. And looks like this is going to be another jump ball.
And we've seen games this year from the Thunderhawks where they have just gotten relentless amount of turnovers, and you see that was definitely part of the game plan coming in here tonight with the early press, and Hawks have just been able to execute here early on.
Yeah, it seems like Talawanda just has no chance to even get the ball anywhere when they inbound it, as Asher now tries to drive in. Here's Blunt. Blunt tries to find somebody, and she'll drive it in herself. No foul there, as Addison Johnson somehow got the ball out of that. And here's Full. Dishes it into Pham in the paint, and it's good for East.
Yeah, and it just seems like it's one of those games where the Hawks are going to come up with every loose ball right now. Just right now being a step ahead of Talawanda and everything. And again, just the pressure kind of shell-shocking them here early on.
Yeah, Weekly not able to haul that pass in, as we get our first sub for East, as Zawia will come in. Bothas will pass it back in here for Talawanda.
And while we have a moment here, let's check in on our keys to the games here tonight for the Thunderhawks. So obviously, first and foremost, ball pressure. We've seen it here early on with the press and take their will from them early, up 10-2, 3 minutes into the game. That'll definitely do it. Push the pace. We've seen them play fast, but we just don't want to see them play too fast. And then last of all, especially if none of these end up working out for the Thunderhawks and it ends up being a close game, just the bottom line is survive and advance.
Yeah, definitely want to come away with a win in this one, move on in this tournament. As Full will try to get something going on offense. And she drives in, passes it back here. Pham tries to find somebody, finds Blunt, and Blunt will try to drive in. And here is Straub from 3, no good, but Zawia gets the rebound and puts it back in.
Yeah, and it just looks like Talawanda's out of sorts on the defensive end as well. Whenever the Hawks have been able to work it around, it just seems like someone's always been open. And then whenever a shot gets up, Talawanda's not really getting their bodies in the paint or getting a body on anyone for that matter.
Yeah, it seems like Talawanda almost doesn't have a passing plan out there. It seems like everything they do is just getting intercepted or tipped. And they'll take a timeout here. We'll take a quick break. Stick with us. We welcome you back here to Middletown High School for this playoff basketball game between Lakota East and Talawanda High School. East up to a 12-2 lead, and they have just owned the court coming out of this first quarter.
Yeah, and just really great job by the Thunderhawks executing their early on game plan, just getting a lot of pressure on the ball and being able to get some easy layups for their stars like Blunt and Asher. Just been able to take full advantage of that, and you see some early subs.
And we'll see if Talawanda drew something up in that timeout. They struggle to get anything going on offense early. Both asked, she'll dish it to Richardson, who's been hurt but comes back after missing 5 games. And trying to dish it in there, it's tipped. A lot of pressure. Full tips that one, and it goes out of bounds, but it will be Talawanda ball.
And it just almost seems like the Braves are predetermining where they want to pass the ball, and East just being able to stay a step ahead on that and jump those passes. But nonetheless, doesn't really seem like Talawanda has a true ball handler, and East will definitely be looking to take advantage.
Yeah, that pass seemed a little forced there to Richardson, who was their star player until she got hurt. See if they can get her going here as Weekly dishes it out to Bothast on the opposite side. Richardson trying to do something now. Good defense here by East, not letting them get anybody open.
And the Hawks just kind of playing that switch-off man that they're playing right now, just really guarding the paint and clogging that area. Want to grab every rebound because Talawanda is definitely not a great shooting team from the field.
Weekly's three-pointer no good. Here's Sturgill now in the paint. She gives it to Full. Full will take the three, and it's not going to be good. Here's Zawia now, who takes it in, and it's good. Sorry, that was Bailey Bacher who made the two.
And Zawilla's really just been all over the court here so far, grabbing a couple of those offensive boards, giving the Hawks second chance bucket. And you just see right there, Bailey Bacher making a nice cut right there to get another easy points in the paint.
Yeah, and a lot of contact there. Big collision.
Again, just a little bit of incidental contact right there, but going to be called a foul all the time. And Talawanda, again, fouling them isn't really the worst thing in the world, just not really efficient shooting. But, again, that's definitely going to be something they look to avoid if they can.
Yeah, and Talawanda seems to just be slinging that thing up, almost 50-50 jump balls, and it's not been working for them. It's caused a lot of turnovers early. Richardson trying to get something. Good defense there. Bothast maybe had something. Here's Weekly from beyond the arc. That one's no good, and Sturgill will get the rebound.
And that was definitely the best offensive possession we've seen from Talawanda all night, just being able to work the ball around and get the look that they want. But, again, seems like they're just a little shell-shocked by the speed of the Thunderhawks team.
Yeah, and East seems comfortable out there, taking things slow, not hurrying anything. And here's Zawia, whose three is not going to be good. Bounced in and out. As Brooke Asher will try now, and hers is also no good, and Talawanda finally gets the rebound in the corner. She's fouled. Talawanda will have the ball.
It just seems like the Hawks can't buy a bucket from the perimeter right now, but it doesn't really matter whenever you're getting all the offensive boards, and right now, Hawks is being a lot more aggressive in the paint in all areas than Talawanda is thus far.
Yeah, and Talawanda seems to just not they seem to not be able to get the ball back after those missed shots, which is going to hurt them if East can just keep shooting, because once they get hot, East can really sink a few threes in a row.
Yeah, and we've seen Asher miss a couple here early on, and really all those three-point shooters, and like Straub right there, and you just let them heat up, and it's really just game over. But at that point,
and we're going to get a jump ball here. Addison Johnson couldn't get it out off the ground there, and Talawanda will have the ball, see what they can do. About 2 minutes left in this first quarter.
Hawks bringing back in Caitlin Pham to help out with that defense.
And that Hawks defense has been relentless, only giving up 1 bucket so far.
And just see they're kind of coming out in a man press right now, just trying to get some pressure on the ball, and you see it pay off.
Well, that was a very impressive interception there by Pham. And Selena Blunt will drive in, dishes it back to Pham, and Pham scores. Very beautiful play there by East.
What a pass there by Blunt. And again, we can see her just take that in against 4 people and try to get the layup and go, but right there, just having her eyes up, a great job right there, finding Pham for the easy bucket.
And East is all over that ball here early. Tons of tips. But here's an open Talawanda player who cannot make it, and it's blocked there by Addison Johnson.
Yeah, Addison Johnson, very underrated defender, as we've seen all season, been able to make some contributions for the Hawks out there this year. And again, we've seen a couple of defensive breakdowns, letting Talawanda leak out into the front court, but you see Johnson right there be able to recover.
Both Fasta trying to dish it in here, and it's tipped by Blunt, goes back out of bounds. East seems like they have infinite wingspan out there right now.
Yeah, definitely tipping every ball, and they're just making things very hard here on Talawanda here early on, and whenever you can get a team kind of flustered with their backs against the wall, then obviously going to make it a very long night for them and a lot harder for them to win the game.
Here's Richardson, no foul called there. Both Fastas got it now. Back to Richardson, thought about taking it, is not going to. Weekly let a couple threes fly already. She tries to do something. In the corner here, lets it fly, not going to be good. Talawanda manages to get the rebound. No, it's stolen there by Full. Full driving down now, and she'll pass it. Here's Asher now running in, and it's not going to be good. East will keep the ball.
Yeah, and right there, just we've seen Talawanda kind of get their offense together in the last couple possessions, just kind of get some flow, run some plays, and they've gotten some open looks, just haven't been able to get them to fall.
Asher for 3, not going to be good off the front of the rim. Here's Weekly taking it up the court.
And that one definitely looked good coming off the hand of Asher, sorry, but again, it's just a matter of time before those three-pointers start falling for the Thunderhawks.
Full has an open 3. She'll take it, and it's good. East will finally get their first 3 to fall, and now it is 19-2.
And just a great job there by Full, spinning back and squaring up that one, making sure that it came perfect off her hand, and Hawks get their first three-pointer.
25 seconds left here in this first quarter. See if Talawanda can get the last shot. Doesn't look like it. Brooke Asher steals it. She's driving in, and it's no good, but Selena Blunt's there for the rebound. She puts it back.
And you just got to give credit to the Thunderhawks. They had 4 people getting back there in the paint to try and get that offensive board, and again, just really taking everything they can get here early on.
There's Weekly. She puts it up to end the quarter. It's not going to be good. The first quarter ends here with an East 21-2 lead. We will be right back after a quick break. We welcome you back to Middletown High School. East has a 19-point lead here coming into this second quarter. They have the ball to start it off, and they've just dominated this one so far.
Yeah, and again, the Hawks just coming out, really putting a lot of pressure on the ball here early on and able to get a lot of turnovers here, as it seems like Talawanda's been a little flustered by the Hawks' speed and aggression that they've come out with. Let's see how they adjust to it, but the Thunderhawks nonetheless out to a big lead here to start the second.
Blunt will put one up from mid-range, and it's good. And again, East just scoring all over the place.
And just textbook right there from Selena Blunt, faking the dribble handoff right there and pulling up from mid-range, and that's a shot that we see her make more than she misses.
Yeah, and it seems like this Talawanda team just seems unprepared. They seem like they haven't seen any of the things that East is doing before, as Richardson has a lot of pressure on her there from Straub in the paint. She dishes it out to Weekly.
And, I mean, in their defense, it's not a lot you can do whenever you got a talent difference of this much, but nonetheless, the Hawks just seem like they're the more aggressive team and the team that wants it more here early on.
And over and back there on Talawanda, as that one was just a stray pass. And East will get another chance to score.
And here in the playoffs with over a week-long break, almost 2 weeks, and especially coming off the loss against Mason, that would have given you a share of the GMC championship. You got to imagine that Coach Wallace has got them ready to play in the playoffs no matter who they're playing.
Yeah, and a big win here has got to boost your momentum a ton going into what will probably be a close game next week.
Yeah, they will play the winner of Seton and Winton Woods next week if they end up winning this game. And Winton Woods they actually lost to in the regular season by a pretty sizable amount, so they'll definitely be looking to get some revenge there.
And Straub's three is good. East now up by 24, and this game is just getting out of hand early.
Yeah, and Parker Straub, someone we have seen contribute with the three ball at times this year, and just right there, getting that wide open three to knock down is definitely a welcome sign here for the Thunderhawks.
And she'll dish it out there inside the paint. Talawanda will get their second basket of the game thanks to Van Gordon in the paint.
Yeah, and again, it hasn't really been bad flow on offense for Talawanda when they have gotten it across half court. We've seen them set up and run some nice sets, but not always able to get the shots to fall. But you see right there, they get that shot to fall.
Here's Full, who will take a three, no good. And it seems like Talawanda is able to pass the ball around, but they just can't put any shots up.
Yeah, and if you have a possession where you pass it too much, it's just going to be one of those possessions where the Thunderhawks will find a way to jump the passing lanes. And so you just got to make sure you're going as quick as you can, passing the ball around the perimeter and just getting the best look you can possibly get.
And I think another key to the success of East and kind of the downfall of Talawanda here early is those stray passes. We've seen a lot of passes just go way over someone's head. Right there we saw it hit Bethesda's foot, so they got to hone those in if they want to get back in this one.
Yeah, and that's really just day one basic practice right there, just being able to throw and catch passes. And you see Talawanda just hearing a little footsteps, therefore they're rushing it.
Here's Chow in the paint. Hers is good. 5 minutes left here in this second quarter, and East is up by 24.
And just a great job by Asher right there, driving in the paint, being able to keep her eyes up. When the double came on her, just being able to get to the wide open Chow for another easy bucket in the paint.
And Gordon dishes it to Weekly here, beyond the arc. They haven't had a three fall for them yet. As here's Van Gordon, it's blocked there by Selena Blunt, the leader in blocks per game in the GMCs.
Yeah, and Selena Blunt, like you mentioned, the leading blocker in the GMC with nearly 3 per game, just right there got 2 early on. And again, some of the Talawanda is not really ready for the Lakota East. Rim protection with Sturgill and Blunt.
Yeah, it seems like when Blunt goes out, Sturgill does a fine job of just doing the same thing as she. Once again, another block there by East. Talawanda will get another shot.
Yeah, and a great job here by the Thunderhawks. Even with the 24-point lead, they are not giving Talawanda an inch.
Both fast dishes into Weekly, but she gets it back. She'll try a three. Not going to be good, and looks like Zawia managed to get the rebound there as Asher takes it up the court. And here is Straub, thought about the three. Sturgill wide open. Now has somebody on her. And a charge there called on Sturgill, and Talawanda will get the ball.
Yeah, and as we go on here, especially with a game like this, it's just we're going to see a lot of calls kind of favor Talawanda a little bit, which is just something that the Thunderhawks are going to have to get used to, as they just don't want this game to get too out of hand. But nonetheless, right there, it seems like the weak side help for Talawanda has not really been evident on the defensive side of the ball, so Hawks just got to make sure they're executing on their cross-court passes and have a plan whenever they get the ball.
Yeah, it seems like they've just out-schemed this Talawanda defense. It seems like there's always somebody wide open across the court. As here's Brooke Asher, who will try a three. Not going to be good. Rebounded there by Talawanda. And both fast will take it up the court, try to slow things down.
And we just see another example right there of no help on the weak side from Talawanda, just kind of clogging the paint right there, leaving Asher all alone. And Asher with a little bit of a cold start from beyond the arc, but again, got to imagine you're going to start to see her hit those shots here soon.
Yeah, and another straight pass there caught by Faith Chow, who's going to be fouled going up, and she'll go to the line.
And just not really fancy footwork right there by Chow, but she didn't really need to use it right there, just going up strong with that one and drawing the foul.
And East just continues to own both sides of the court. Chow is good from the three-point line 100% of the time this season. And that's her first miss this season, unfortunately.
Yeah, a little bit of an announcer jinx from Max right there, but nonetheless, really good for a team when you can have a good free throw shooter in there. Definitely pays a lot of benefit, especially towards the end of close games. Free throws can really make or break a team's season.
Yeah, and we saw it hurt East last week against Mason. They allowed way too many free throws. Big reason why they lost that close one.
Yeah, and even when they did miss their free throws, we did see a couple instances where Blunt and Johnson down there in the paint, or even Full in this case, just were in there getting those offensive boards and giving East second chance points. But it's just really good whenever you have a team that's not really going to give up, especially whenever you miss a free throw.
So we checks back in here for East, as Weekly will take it up the court, try to get something going. Seems like Talawanda doesn't have any offensive plays drawn up. They've kind of just been chucking it around here early.
And you see Full and Pham up there playing the two-up defense, just kind of blitzing Talawanda up top right there. And even though they were able to get it across, just nothing really going here on the offensive possession.
Yeah, and unfortunately can't say this is something that we weren't expecting. East ranked 51st in Ohio, and Talawanda all the way back down at 421st. It would have been a tall ask for them to stop this explosive East team.
Yeah, and part of it may have to do with the competition aspect, which Talawanda, obviously 4 teams in their conference featuring Mount Healthy and Harrison and all of them, and just playing against like D3 teams like Monroe. And whenever they have played big schools, they're competitive against Hamilton, who's obviously at the bottom of the GMC. And one common opponent that they have is Baden, who Talawanda lost to by 55 and East beat pretty handily. So it's just stuff like that whenever Talawanda's playing big schools, big competition, and we're seeing the skill difference here at hand.
Yeah, and Talawanda's been held to less than 10 points before this season. And it seems like they lost Richardson earlier in the season, and if you look at the stats from those games, they just didn't score at all. That's kind of continuing into this one.
And in the games where the Hawks have won in blowouts, we have seen them kind of slow it down in the second half a little bit, just kind of mess around and see if they get some sets that they like that they've never really tried in games before, but ultimately it ends up leading to some opponent buckets. But don't expect to see this one get too ugly in the second half, but here in the first half, you definitely know that the Hawks are not going to let their foot off the gas.
Yeah, East already having 31 points here with 3 minutes left in the second quarter as they'll let one fly, and it's good there from Straub. This lead will extend.
And just a good job there by Straub finding her spot, and that really is her spot, and it has been all season, just knocking down that three-pointer right there. And Talawanda really slow on the closeouts from the three-point line.
And unintentional kickball there by Asher. We continue to see this good pressure that East has been putting on Talawanda, not letting them get any passes to go where they want them to.
Yeah, and even like a kickball right there, just really not the worst thing in the world, just making everything hard on Talawanda. And once again, you're seeing that two-up defense from the Thunderhawks.
Here's Wynn now. See her for the first time as Weekly puts one up for 3, and it's good. Talawanda's first three-point bucket of the night.
And just got to give Weekly her flowers right there. Just being able to make that corner three, had really good arc on it, looked good coming off the hand. And
right back answering there is Pham, who gets a 3 of her own.
And again, the most dominant possessions for the Thunderhawks tonight have been the ones where they have moved the ball, and you just see right there, moving the ball once again, able to get Pham a wide open three-point look.
And a great tip there by Pham. Rejected there. And credit where credit's due. Weekly has not given up hustle in this one. Seems like one of the only people on this Talawanda offense who's really been hustling up and down the court so far.
Yeah, definitely just maybe wishing your teammates could replicate that a little bit. But again, it's just maybe it's the effort, but part of it could also just be the athleticism of the Thunderhawks. Just might be a little much for Talawanda to handle.
Yeah, and can't forget about the mental game either. When you're ranked so much further below somebody else, it really doesn't do good for your motivation in a game. As weakly as Pham and Addison Johnson on her, somehow gets it out of there. She'll get it back and put up a three. Not going to be good. Air ball going to be recovered there by Straub, and Full will take it up the court.
Yeah, and I'm sure whenever it's the type of game where you are playing a more dominant opponent, it's just one of those things that you say as a coach where it's just like, don't worry about the ranking, just we got to be better than them for 32 minutes. But throughout the first 15 here, that definitely has not lived up here for the Braves.
Yeah, East has just owned all parts of the court so far tonight. Doing a good job trying to just dribble out this second quarter. Talawanda probably going to want to go to the locker room and think of a new scheme for the second half.
Yeah, and I don't know how that pass ended up getting in there with Pham in the double in the paint, but able to handle it right there and draw the foul.
Yeah, we've seen some good passing by East here. Really doing a good job of finding the open guy on the perimeter. That's how they scored a lot of their points. Pham's first free throw going to be good.
And I'm sure Hawks just going to play that man-to-man defense, probably going to pick him up at full court and try to get a turnover here and send this thing into a running clock here before halftime.
Pham will line up for her second free throw. This one's good too. 52 seconds left here in this second quarter.
See a couple subs coming in here for the Thunderhawks. Really looks like an all-defense lineup right here with Johnson pressing at the top and then Zawila and Pham. Just a lot of speed out there for the Thunderhawks right now to close out this half.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of pressure put on by this East defense. As here's Van Gordon, who puts up a mid-range that's going to be good. Talawanda will go with at least a few points into this locker room, as East will try to get the last shot of this half.
Yeah, maybe just a little too late here for the Braves here before the half, and just another easy bucket for the Thunderhawks.
Yeah, and it seems like this passing game from East has just got Talawanda's head on a swivel, and they can't seem to figure out where the ball is.
And just big credit to Coach Wallace not really overlooking this opponent and making sure that the Hawks came out with a game plan, and they definitely have been the more aggressive team to this point.
And I think the Hawks think they can go far in this tournament, as they will try to get the last shot. That one's not even going to be close. 0.8 seconds left, though.
Yeah, not really sure if that was a shot attempt or a pass there to Johnson looking down the paint. Maybe Zawila just getting a little too excited right there. But, again, whenever you're up by 32 points, that's not really something that you're going to sweat over, but that'll bring us to halftime.
We will see you back for the second half. East up 41-9 here early. Welcome back to Middletown High School for this matchup between Lakota East and Talawanda. This one a little bit out of hand, 41-9 coming out of halftime, and Talawanda will try to get something going on offense. They struggled in this first half.
Yeah, struggle might be a little bit of an understatement. You see the Hawks coming out with all 5 starters to start the second half, so really no plans here to let off the gas pedal.
Yeah, and I think this East defense has just been relentless. There's been so many tip passes and blocks, too. Talawanda really just can't get anything going up.
Yeah, and we saw the early steal here for the Thunderhawks coming out of the halftime locker room. And Talawanda, if they want even a chance to get back in this game, they have got to limit the turnovers. That has definitely been the blaring weakness that they've had thus far.
Here's Bothast now. Richardson been kind of a non-factor coming back off the injury. Bothast will try it from 3, and it's not going to be good. Full will get the rebound. She goes up the court. Finds Selena Blunt, who can't chase down the pass, and it's going to go out of bounds.
And I feel like that was the right idea there for Emma Full. Just Blunt really not able to handle that one. And even against the double right there, just Thunderhawks will nonetheless get another chance.
Here's Blunt now. Full wide open in the corner. Her 3 not going to be good. Bothast manages to get the board. A little tumble there from Pham in the corner as Weekly will take it up the court.
And a welcoming sight here for the Thunderhawks, just not really seeing a lack of hustle. Coming out with the same aggression that they did to begin the game.
And another good swat there from East. Doing a good job of not getting really any fouls on steals. Been a big point in this game as, again, stolen there by Blunt. And she will have a wide open basket and 2 more points for her stat sheet.
And just a great job there by Blunt, reading that pass like a book and able to jump it for the easy layup. And Pham right there sticking her leg out, kind of affecting the course of that pass, and Blunt able to take full advantage right there.
Yeah, it just seems like East knows what Talawanda is going to do before they even do it. Credit to the coaching by Coach Wallace. Both fast, trying to find somebody in the paint. There's Van Gordon, who is leading Talawanda in points right now.
Yeah, and right there, just Talawanda. Whenever we've seen them move the ball and get their offense set, it really hasn't been that bad for them. And they've been able to get some looks that they've wanted. Just haven't been able to get every shot to fall, but nonetheless, they're getting the looks. But that's a big if they can get their offense running.
Yeah, the problem seems to not be when they have possession of it. It seems trying to get it on the other side of the court. East has been doing such a good job of pressuring them as they try to work it up court, and they really don't even have a chance to get their offense going.
Yeah, and we see an example of the pressure right there, just being able to get another jump ball. We've seen it a lot here today, but Thunderhawks once again just making everything hard here on Talawanda.
Addison Johnson for 3, not going to be good. And Asher somehow got possession of that in the paint, catches her own board. Going to put it back up, not going to be good. Pham's got it now. Her putback not going to be good. And Richardson finally is able to get the rebound for Talawanda.
And just a good job of bully ball right there for the Thunderhawks. Just really couldn't get the layups to go. And that one definitely looked a lot better coming off the hand of Johnson than the first one.
Yeah, East really owned the paint in this one. See it there, getting a lot of putback opportunities. Unfortunately not able to score. Richardson just has that one tipped away by Blunt.
And something noticeable here as we get in here to the second half, the help defense for the Thunderhawks has just been a lot better than Middletown. Just whenever the Hawks have moved the ball and they've been able to get really whatever they want in the paint, but the Thunderhawks, it just seems like they're ready for everything that Talawanda's throwing at them.
Yeah, and Talawanda's not been playing very heads-up basketball. We've seen a lot of, as a 3 there by Bothast, her first. But Talawanda really just not been keeping their heads up and playing aware, it seems like, so far.
Yeah, and we have seen them make a couple shots here to start the second half. So like we said, if they can get in their offense and run some sets, they're going to see some shots start falling, and there's just an example of it right there.
Yeah, and if you're East, you do have a 29-point lead, but you definitely don't want to get lazy. Here's Asher, who will take the 3, not going to be good. Selena Blunt has it now in the paint. She puts it up. She's going to be fouled, but her shot is no good.
Yeah, just really hasn't been Asher's night from beyond the arc thus far. Just way off on the 3 right there, but again, that's little harm whenever you got the Thunderhawks just sucking up the offensive boards here tonight, and again, getting a second chance right there, able to earn Blunt a trip to the free throw line.
Yeah, and it seems like even when East does miss their 3s, someone's right there to get the board. Talawanda just seems to always be leaving somebody open, too, on defense. They've really struggled to predict what East is going to come out with.
And we've seen it this year at times with the Thunderhawks, just playing teams that don't really have any awareness of where they are on the court, and it just looks like Talawanda's kind of got that same effect right now, just not really being prepared for an offensive rebound, just standing somewhere and hoping the ball comes to them.
Yeah, Coleraine, Fairfield come to mind there. Teams that just seem to not have as high of a basketball IQ as East does.
And I don't really know about that one. Seems like Full had a clean strip right there, but nonetheless calling a jump ball.
And Bofasta will dish it in. She's passed it in a lot tonight, as Sturgill will come in for Blunt.
Yeah, and again, seeing the Hawks putting in some of their bench players here to try and hold down this lead, and just giving them starters a rest with a 30-point lead here, just trying to get them ready for the next game. But again, Coach Wallace having no plans to take their foot off the gas pedal, and these are all going to be players that are part of the rotation going forward.
Impressive save there by Naaman on Talawanda. A rare, bright play by their offense. Sturgill tries to get something going. Here's Asher. And we've seen that extra week of rest has really benefited East as they've come out fast in this one.
Yeah, and you're seeing it right there. They're just chasing down every loose ball, and you're seeing examples of it on this possession.
Asher will finally get her three-point to fall, and East moves closer to that 50-point mark.
And with the amount of missed threes that we've seen from Asher tonight, it was only a matter of time before she got hers, and right there, just silky smooth on the three-pointer.
And if she can get hot here, that would really be good. Transfer over into next game. It seems like they'll play Winton Woods. Should be a close matchup.
Yeah, and Winton Woods and Seton are getting ready to play here after this game, tipping off at 7:30 here at Middletown. And just the Thunderhawks tonight really been able to dominate and just looking to kind of carry that same game plan over to when they play, whether that be Seton or Winton Woods.
Good job contesting the shot there by Sturgill. And Straub will go in, and hers is good. Far out layup there. And Talawanda falls further behind here as Weekly takes it up the court.
Yeah, and things just being too easy for the Thunderhawks here at this point in the game. Just getting out in transition, running, and being able to get some easy buckets. And we've seen it all night. Talawanda has really not picked up the intensity there.
Yeah, and Talawanda's also gifted East double-digit possessions here. A lot of errant throws. And in this third quarter already, looking like this one is all but done.
Yeah, and expect to see a running clock here soon. If the Thunderhawks can get a bucket on this possession, that is exactly what we will have. And Thunderhawks just kind of running their offense, trying to get an open look. And we've seen that be successful most of the time for them tonight. But travel definitely won't help that case.
Travel called there on Faith Chow. East been good on fouls when they're on offense. That might be their only, I think, their second tonight.
Yeah, and again, just the Thunderhawks really playing clean basketball. I haven't seen them foul or turn the ball over a lot tonight. And just right there, you see a little bit of a hiccup. But again, just it's going to have that in games, and not the worst thing in the world when you're up by 33 points.
And a travel call now on Talawanda. So they'll trade possessions. Parker Straub will pass it in. East gets a chance to get that running clock.
You see the all-bench lineup in there with Brooke Asher that we've seen at times this year. Let's see how they can execute.
Yeah, it seems like even these bench players so far have played with the same intensity as the starters have for East. As Zawia finds Chow, and here's Straub in the corner. Her three is no good, but Sturgill gets the rebound. Sturgill will dish it back up to Brooke Asher. He'll take her time.
And again, just the Hawks hawking down another offensive board right there, and Sturgill there in the paint, being able to give the Hawks another chance.
And that one, Sturgill somehow managed to hold on to that one as Asher will take a three. No good. This game really not helping Asher's three-point percentage, even with this big lead.
And it just seems the Hawks are kind of overwhelming Talawanda in the paint. You see almost four players collapsing on Sturgill right there in the paint, just kicking it out, getting wide open looks from the three-point arc. Not really been great shooting there from the Thunderhawks tonight, but it's definitely not a common occurrence that we've seen this season, as they are the #1 shooting team in the GMC from beyond the arc. But not seeing it at effect tonight, but we can only hope that it's just an off night tonight and they'll be able to carry it into next week.
Yeah, and Talawanda's offensive struggles continue from earlier on in the season. as Weekly, that's her second three of the night. And Weekly been a little bit of a bright spot on this Talawanda offense, which otherwise has been very dull.
And when Talawanda does not turn it over, we have seen them be very good on offense, like I've mentioned before. And you see right there starting to heat up from beyond the arc here in the second half.
A bad pass there by East, rolls out of bounds. Lothasta will pass it in. See if Talawanda can stop this running clock from happening.
And Talawanda really just in no hurry right now. Just kind of seems like they're starting to throw in the towel down 30 here late third quarter, but just trying to set up and run their offense and make sure that they just don't get another turnover.
Yeah, and they are coming off of a 3-game losing streak. Emotions probably not the best for them coming into this one, and this one's obviously not helping as it looks like their season's going to end earlier than they want it to.
Yeah, and as we talked about earlier, it was just not really caring about who your opponent is, just executing the best you can and trying to slow the Stars for this Thunderhawks team down. Just, again, credit to the Thunderhawks just coming out, not really overlooking Talawanda, just taking care of business here in Middletown.
And Weekly getting a little hot here in this third quarter as it winds down. 35 seconds left here. Full takes it up the court. East will probably look to get the final shot.
And just not really the one you want to see open for the Thunderhawks as we've seen it here tonight. And that's really the only Talawanda player who's really been able to get any sort of rhythm.
And here is Zoea from the three-point line, and hers is good. And East gets up to 52. And I think we'll have that running clock.
Bank is open for Zoea tonight, and you see right there just able to get it back going here into the fourth quarter.
Here's Weekly, who will try to get the last shot of the quarter. Not going to be good. We will see you back for the fourth quarter. Stick with us. We welcome you back for fourth quarter basketball here in Middletown. Playoff basketball, East up 52-22. Winton Woods and Seton will play next to see who East should play if they can keep this 30-point lead.
Yeah, and the Thunderhawks just looking to take care of business here in the fourth quarter. Really not put too much on tape for their next opponent. Just kind of run their basic motion offense against this Talawanda defense right now. And just another easy point in the bucket for Sturgill.
Yeah, everything East tries to run on offense seems to be working. They seem to get people open no matter what they're trying to do. And Talawanda kind of been a different story. A lot of their passes have been way off of their marks.
Yeah, and just the story of the game has really been the turnovers tonight here for Talawanda. Just we saw it from the beginning, just not really able to get anything going offensively. And again, it's showing on the scoreboard here tonight. East just dominating this game.
Here's both fast, trying to find somebody. Seems like East has everything on locks. This East defense has been relentless today, and they usually are second best in the GMC in points allowed.
Yeah, and again, just it's all about not giving Talawanda an inch, just forcing all those turnovers, and it leads to another easy bucket right there in the paint.
Yeah, impressive. Full here, even in this fourth quarter. East continues to not be afraid of contact in the paint, and they continue just to extend this lead. And East boys tomorrow will face off against LaSalle for their playoff game. Should be an interesting one.
Yeah, definitely should be an interesting one tomorrow, but coming back to that in a second, just really good hands right there from Johnson being able to get that steal and get out in the fast break right there, and good ball movement from the Thunderhawks, all being able to chase down that bucket.
Yeah, East continue to play heads up late. Even with this lead, they haven't slowed down. They haven't gotten lazy. Which is good to see. They don't seem tired at all out there.
Yeah, definitely well conditioned. That's just a credit to Coach Wallace and what he's been able to do with them this year. And again, just looking like the more prepared team here in this game, and we see the running clock coming into effect.
Here's Johnson. She'll give it to Sturgill. Sturgill's got a wide open Pham. This Talawanda defense seems to have just kind of given up as Sturgill takes a three. It's not going to be good. Chow dishes it out to Full off the rebound, and her three is good.
And again, just another second chance bucket here for the Thunderhawks. And I've lost count of how many of those they've had tonight, but East just out here pouring it on here in the fourth.
Yeah, and East takes a timeout. We'll take a quick timeout. We'll join you back in just a second. Welcome back to Middletown High School. East has this game on locks now, 61-22. Pretty much over, running clock. They'll try to just end this one. And they look like they've got a lot of great momentum heading into their next game.
Yeah, just a really great job by the Thunderhawks coming out here and executing from start to finish. Just Talawanda got a little hot there in that third quarter, but just a great job by the Hawks responding to that, not letting them crawl back into this game, and just looking to ride this one to the finish, and they'll definitely be moving on to their next opponent. Expect to see Coach Wallace stay here to scout afterwards.
Yeah, and you mentioned next game between Winton Woods and who's their opponent? I forget. Off the top of my head. Seton.
Winton Woods and Seton, should be a good matchup right there, but again, Hawks losing to Winton Woods here earlier in the season, so if we do get that matchup in the next round, then definitely should be a very interesting one.
And another mishap there for Talawanda. East will get the ball. East has had pretty much everything work for them so far. They've owned the court. Trish trying to end this game. It's been pretty if you're a Thunderhawks fan.
Yeah, definitely been very pretty. And you mentioned earlier the guys playing tomorrow against LaSalle should be a good one. Definitely had a very opposite side of the spectrum season than the girls. Guys have played in a lot of close games. Pretty much every game that they've played in has been close, no matter who the opponent is. And that experience in close games is definitely something that pays off in the playoffs.
Yeah, for sure. And this week that they had off, probably good preparation, too, further into this tournament. I think if East can play up to their potential here, they have a chance to go pretty far in these playoffs.
Yeah, and again, it's all going to depend on which version of the Thunderhawks we're going to get, really from the men's and the women's side, because we've seen flashes of greatness from both sides, but we also have seen the teams play at their lowest at times, and especially in the big games, just haven't really been able to do much. But again, that experience will hopefully pay off for them in the playoffs, and they're about due for some big wins.
And East getting hot here late. 3 falls there for Pham. And I think a big key for this East team is putting games away, which obviously this girls team has done today. But against those better teams, it's going to be very crucial that East doesn't let up points in that fourth quarter and let teams crawl their way back into games.
Yeah, and we saw last week against Mason, just seemed like the officiating and the calls was kind of getting in their heads a little bit, just not really being able to respond well to some of those calls. And they definitely played with a lot of relentless effort, just really were not able to get their shots to fall whenever they need to. And again, credit to Mason, because they just came out with the great adjustments coming out of the halftime break and just really kind of had the Thunderhawks on their heels last week. And if they do end up getting a third matchup sometime in this tournament, then definitely should be a very fun one to see how the Hawks adjust.
Impressive rebound there by Full. One-handed Odell style in the paint. And a foul called on Talawanda. Looks like East will get some free throws.
Yeah, and you see going to the line right here, all smiles on the faces of the Thunderhawks after that one, and just pouring it on right here with this running clock.
I mean, it's got to feel good, your first playoff game, and it's a 64-22 lead in the fourth quarter. I don't think you could have asked for it to go much better if you're East.
Yeah, definitely great execution here tonight, and I don't think they're as worried about the deficit. It's just, if you're the Thunderhawks, a win is a win, and like we talked about earlier with one of the keys, just survive and advance, and the Hawks are doing that.
They are definitely surviving, if not thriving here, as, again, mishaps in the passing game. Talawanda was able to keep it. Weekly been a bright spot on this Talawanda offense. Really was the reason that they had a little bit of a hot streak there in that third quarter.
Yeah, that's really the only offense we've seen from Talawanda all night. Seems like Weekly's had about over half of their points, and Talawanda's just not really being able to execute on the offensive end tonight.
Here's both Fasta, who's had a 3 fall earlier. In the paint there, it's rejected by the backboard. And it looks like we're going to get a jump ball here.
And just great defense there by Chow, keeping her hands up, letting the backboard do her job right there. And you see number 14, Macy Hill, in the game here for the Thunderhawks. Someone who we really haven't seen a lot of this year, but we have seen contribute, and definitely someone who will be contributing in Coach Wallace's lineup as we go forward.
Yeah, this is a good chance to get some bench players going. You never know what's going to happen in the playoffs. You definitely want everyone to have a little bit of experience.
Yeah, and Thunderhawks, knock on wood, have been pretty healthy this year, so definitely going to have to get some experience, say someone goes down, but God forbid that doesn't happen. The Thunderhawks definitely should be able to ride this deep lineup that they have a long way.
Yeah, these bench players you mentioned have been good. Seems like Selena Blunt and Bella Sturgill have just been kind of switching in and out, and they can just do each other's job flawlessly. Tonight it's worked really well.
Yeah, and Sturgill, one of those more experienced bench players for the Thunderhawks. Just, again, like you said, coming in for Blunt whenever she needs a rest and doing really well, holding it down, and definitely going to have to get ready for next year. She's going to be the one there in the paint.
Yeah, and a little bit of a parallel to the men's team, PJ McFarland and Derek Jackson in the paint. Seems like East has got the paint locked up for the future for this Hawks team on both teams.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, a lot of similarities there. Just Jackson and McFarland right there, kind of really having the same flow as Blunt and Sturgill have, and McFarland just being able to come in and hold it down whenever Jackson needs a rest, and just very efficient paint work for the Thunderhawks, and they are set for the future.
And it looks like this clock, East just going to let it wind down. 7 seconds left here. East a demanding victory. Both sides played some good basketball, but East ultimately will come out on top, 64-22. They'll move on in this GMCs. They'll play either Winton Woods or Seton. We will see you tomorrow against Fairfield at 7:30. Want to give a big shout out to all our sponsors, Spark, Butler Tech, and of course the Lakota East Broadcasting Club. I'm Max Earl, this is Camden Braden, and we will see you tomorrow.